And we are getting started. Awesome, awesome. Let's get into this. So, welcome everybody to a studio review. It's been so long since we did this. Excited to be back. Let's go and hop into 23.8 Studio, the DOM, and events. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them out during this. I see other people joining. So let's go ahead. Now that we can build a basic flight simulator, we want to add more controls for the staff at our space station. The HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files are provided. For each event, the requirements and desired effect is listed. 23.8.1, getting started. First, fork the Studio repository to your GitHub account. To do so, on the Studio repository page, on GitHub, click fork button. All right, we're gonna go and do that. We're gonna single click this link here. It's gonna bring us over to GitHub. Perfect. I see it right here. Take a close look at up here. Top left, it says Launch Code Education. That is Launch Code's, Launch Code's GitHub. This is the correct place for it to be. We do not want to be in here. We want to bring this over to our own repository, because if we try to push up to Launch Code Education, the problem is that it will reject us. More likely than not, it will reject us. So we always want to make sure that we fork it. So make sure you fork. If you are getting a push error, double check that you actually forked the project before you started. So we're gonna go up here, click fork. It's going to copy it over to my repository here. Excuse me, my GitHub account. It's gonna make its own repository in my account. Perfect, there we go. So now I see, take a closer look up here. It says now KWADG, because I created this account when I was 12. This up here is not actually how I spell my last name, but whatever, it is my account. So that is the one thing to look out here. Make sure your account is in the top left, and then it says the repository you truly want to be in. Then when we confirm that, we click code and we go to HTTPS. If you have SSH, I understand. People are trying to get around those things. I have HTTPS set up, so I'm going to copy this. Perfect. I'm going to come over here to my terminal, which it just disappeared on me. So I'll open up again then. Fine. Oh, because you're up here. There we go. Awesome. What I'm going to do is CD now, change directory into my LC files. That's going to be CD under desktop. Oops, I am in the wrong thing. I'm going to CD to my tilde to get me back to my home directory. There you go. CD desktop and then LC for launch code. Perfect. I'm in here. Now I want to clone that repository onto my computer. I do that by saying git clone. And then I paste in that repository link just like that. Press enter. It brings it onto my machine. Fantastical. Look at that. We go into LC and it says DOM Event Studio is right there. Fantastic. Fantastic, fantastic. Let's go ahead and CD into it. DOM. Another fun fact, because we haven't done studio review, Kyle's fun fact of the day. If you press tab, I mentioned this in lecture 1, but if you press tab as you are typing something, and that is the only thing there with that spelling on there, it will autofill in your terminal for you. Feel free to do that to just save some time. All right, there we go. We have our we have this repository in our machine. Awesome, it's on our computer. We have it all set up. Let's continue on. All right, so we did that. A pop-up appears asking where to fork the repository. That's what we did. We saw that we selected my GitHub account, so that's where I went. So you should now have a copy of the repository in your own profile. We absolutely do. That's what we want to see. Let's read the note real quick. Not only is forking repositories an important Git skill, it is especially vital in the class so that everyone has the same starter code. Before continuing, make sure that the repository is now on your profile and you are working with a copy of your starter code for the rest of the studio. That is exactly what we did. Make sure that your own profile name is in the top left of that repository. If you have properly forked a repository, when you click the forked repository on your profile, you will see the following. And that's, if we double check, see here, is exactly what we see. Forked from Launch Code Education, DOM Events Studio. Awesome, awesome. That is what we see. We can continue. Once you have properly forked the repository, you can clone the remote repository to your computer. To start that, click the clone. We did all of this. It's just like automatic. I apologize, but we're going to keep going through it. Clone the proper HTTPS URL or the command. That's what we did. We copied this. And then we copied on the, with the button, whatever you want to do. In the terminal, navigate to the directory where you want to the project. We did that too. So we're just way ahead of ourselves here. Use the command git clone and that URL with the URL you just copied to put the project on your local machine. Of course, as I've said before a million times now, we have done that. So we can continue on, open Visual Studio Code and go to the file open. Oh, we haven't done that. There's something new. Let's go ahead and do that. Open up Visual Studio Code and actually see that thing. All right, I'm gonna go and click open here. Go to desktop, go to LC, go to a single click on DOM Event Studio, and we press open, and bada bing, bada boom, we have it in our sites. Look at that. We have our index.html. Look at that. That looks, ooh, nice fancy stuff. I might have to shrink the text on this one. I know we brought up here. I'm going to shrink it down just a little bit because we have a lot of stuff in here. And then we have our nice little PNG, a nice little image, and then a script.js, nothing in there, and style CSS. Neat. Oh, cool, cool. Any questions up until this point? All right, we covered that really fast because we just did that in lecture. So now it's time for Kyle to take a detour here. I am going to go ahead and go into settings and shrink that font. From 16, we're going to go ahead and just do 13 there. There we go. Let's go back to index.js. Is that still okay for everyone?
Yeah, it's good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to come back over here. Ooh, deep breath, Kyle. Okay, 23.8.2, the requirements. Number 1, use the window load event to ensure all elements have been loaded before attaching event handlers. That is what we covered at the end of lecture, so it should be fresh in everyone's head. Let's go ahead and do that. It doesn't tell us where exactly to put this, so we kind of have to read between the lines here. If we go over to our code, scripts.js is where they prepared a JavaScript file for us to do this. So I'm going to say this is probably where they want us to put that event listener for that. We could also put it in the index.html technically at the very top of the head if we wanted to do that. But they already created this nice area and we already made the file. Why not take advantage of it? So that's what I'm going to do is put it right here. All right. Oh, and it also says write your JavaScript code here. So there you go. There's a strong hint. We're going to put it in here. So in order to do that, what object, whether it is window or document, are we going to wait for it to load before we put on the other event listeners? Anybody got that answer for me? Cue Jeopardy music.
Window
Yeah.
that.
It is window. We're going to wait for the window to finish loading before we look for anything else in the document. Basically, you need to wait for your browser to finish before you look for anything inside of that document, aka the website. So very good. Window dot, how do I do it? How do I wait for load to finish? What method or function am I going to be using here?
Add event listener.
Very good. Add event listener. Got to make sure everyone out there is still staying awake. So load is the event we are going to be waiting for. After that, we might write an anonymous function. Okay, just a function without a name. Hence the name anonymous. Perfect. We have created our event listener for the loading event on our window. All right, any questions on that? We're up until this point. Sounds like silence, so we're going to keep on going then. Number 2, when the takeoff button is clicked, the following should happen. A window confirm should let the user know, confirm that the shuttle is ready for takeoff. If the shuttle is ready for liftoff, then add parts B through D. Well, I'm not even on parts of B through D. So as we already talked about lecture today too, I like to start step by step. So we'll get to B here in a moment. Let's go ahead and do that. When the takeoff button is clicked, the following should happen. That is a big indicator of when or where to start coding. So when the takeoff button is clicked, to me, click is an event. The event occurring is that click on the takeoff button. So what I need to do is write an event listener for that takeoff button. So I'm going to say let's say takeoff button, BTN for short, equals document dot, there's that DUCOMENT dot get element by ID. Now this is the tricky thing. I need that ID. So what I'm going to do is come over to my index.html. I need to find the ID for the takeoff button. Now, when Kyle is trying to find something in the midst of a lot of code, what he looks for particularly is the exact text they tell me to look for, takeoff. So what I do is press Command F or Control F, depending on your Windows machine. I'm going to look for takeoff. There we go. Takeoff is down here on line 35. The button, that's what we needed, is a button that says takeoff. Perfect. I think we found it. Even better, we found the ID, this attribute here that says takeoff. So the ID is takeoff. So what I'm going to do is use that information, come back to my scripts.js, and write in the ID I'm looking for, take off. Perfect. Now that I've found the button, I'm now able to manipulate it, or in this case, add an event listener to it. So to do that, I say take off button dot add event listener. What event are we listening for on this button?
The click.
I'm looking for the click. Very good. Just writing click in there, and then we write the anonymous function. What's going to happen after that click is heard? After that click is heard, there we go. So this is where the following should happen. So we wrote that event listener just like that. There we go. Let's go back over here and see what we have to do. A window confirm should let the user know, confirm that the shuttle is ready for takeoff. If the shuttle is ready for takeoff, then add parts A through D. All right. Now this is going to be a little bit of a trickier one. So we need to, well, first things first, it's not going to be too tricky just yet. I'm going to write this on multiple lines there so we can actually see it. So a window confirm should let the user know, confirm that the shuttle is ready for takeoff. That's a message right there. But it's really telling us to use the window confirm function, window confirm. So that's what we're going to write down here. To do the window confirm, I need the window object. The window object is just called by name, window, which is a global object. We didn't really talk about that. I've always mentioned to you, you need to declare your variables that you're using. This is one that's baked into our site, baked into our website. That's why we don't have to create a window object somewhere else. It's created for us and it's just there waiting. So it comes basically with it if you wanted to put words to it. So window is just one of those objects we're going to be using here. So window dot, and then we use the function. Oh, sorry, did I hear a question? All right. If I did hear a question, I'm sorry if I cut you off. Just let me know. All right.
We lost your audio for a minute. That was it.
Oh, am I back?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I was explaining something really important too. Okay, real quick. Window is an object. As we've noticed, we haven't been able to create window anywhere on this document. We didn't say let window. We didn't have inside const window. We just assumed it was there. And I'm surprised I didn't get a question about that. That one's just an object that's baked in or comes with our website. So we're going to use this window object here. And it says we need to use the confirm function. So we say confirm. And then we're going to bring in exactly what that message was that they told us about right there. Perfect. All right. So this is our window confirm. Let's go ahead and save this and see if everything's working up to this point. If it is, we should see a window confirm little modal or box come up here when we run this. So let's go ahead and we need to actually open up our HTML. So it's going to do that. I'm going to go to LC here wherever my stuff is. On index.html, it's going to open me up. Unfortunately, Safari, because I've been too lazy to change over my stuff. Come back over here, paste in that link. Perfect. All right, we need to find that takeoff button. It's right here. I'm going to click that. And we see that this page says, confirm the shuttle is ready for takeoff. I press OK. It doesn't do anything, but at least that modal is showing. So we know that our stuff is working. Remember, always take our baby steps as we're coding. We need to do step by step to see if it's actually doing what we expect when we add these lines of code. Awesome. All right, so here is the fun part. If the shuttle is ready for liftoff, then add parts B through D. It's given us a question there. Is the shuttle ready for takeoff? If the shuttle is ready for takeoff, we have to do what here? We're working with what? It says if we're working with a conditional. But what if we're working with the conditional? We need some kind of Boolean thing to work with, a true or false. Where can we get that from? Well, the fun fact of the things that we didn't talk about really in lecture today, that is, if we talk about more about this confirm, it will actually give us back if or if not is ready to launch. This confirm actually will tell us whether or not the user said okay or cancel. We're going to make sure that I'm actually not just lying to you, because I do need to double check that. So there we go. What I'm going to do is console log is ready to launch. Remember, this is what's returned from the window.confirm function. We save that. We're going to come over here, refresh. But before I do anything, because if I just press take off here and just press OK, I don't see anything. So what do I need to do to see what is actually printed out from JavaScript? Who can remember that one? What do I
Inspect
need to do?
element.
Event.
Inspect element.
You need to inspect the element. Very good. Absolutely. So let's go and do that. Right click, press inspect. It's going to come in here and it's going to show all of our elements. We don't want the elements. That's just showing us our HTML. We want to see JavaScript. JavaScript's going to be found under console. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to press take off and press OK. And it says true. Awesome. It's returning us a Boolean. Let's press take off and then press cancel. It returns false. So that's what's coming back from the window.confirm function. Sometimes it's just fun to also see what's returned actually from functions if we're not actually exactly sure. So there we go. Is ready to launch. It's coming back from the window.confirm. It returns true or false. So if is ready to launch, then here we need to add parts A or B through D. I have no idea what those parts are yet, but we want to finish this first part here right now. So before we hop into those other parts, any questions up into this point? All right, then let's keep going.
How did you get to actual screens, like how you ran the test? Like that. How did you get to there?
To scripts.js.
Scripts.js. Oh no, like where it turned for the space shuttle, like their actual web page that you're making.
Right, so okay, so to open up a page or an HTML page, what you need to do is navigate to where your project is. So in my case, it's NLC. And I go into DOM and Event Studio, and I double click on index.js. That should open up your primary browser with the index.html showing.
Okay.
When that happens, you're gonna go ahead and see this. And what we did was we clicked take off. And then depending on the coding, what we just got was that we got is ready to launch is returned. Does that kind of help out a little bit?
I think so. Let's see.
Okay. Awesome. Any other questions?
And it's right click inspect to get.
Absolutely right. And then I believe also we were told today, if you want to do F12 on your keyboard, that will also open up the same panel. I'm just lazy and I'll just do the right click and press inspect. Any other questions before we continue? All right, then let's see what this add parts B through D is. Let's go back over to our studio here. All right, B through D, starting at B, the flight status should change to shuttle in flight. Okay, the flight status should change shuttle in flight. That is one part here, so we're gonna go and post that. The flight status, what exactly is the flight status? Well, let's go over to our flight simulator here. I'm assuming the current flight status, there we go. Flight status should up here say whatever they just told us to say. What is this? Shuttle in flight. All right, so we gotta go do that. Current flight status, and then this is the text below it. This is the header, it looks like, and then this is the actual description of that current flight status. One big thing about sites, make sure you're not changing the actual title for whatever text is below it. Fuel levels, and then you have the description of what the fuel level is. So we have our current flight status and then the actual description of what that flight status is. So we're gonna find that. Index.html is where all that stuff would be. So let's go ahead and find our current flight status, which is an H2. But again, we don't wanna change our header here. We wanna change the actual description. So what we're looking for here is the ID of that element that we wanna change. In this case, it's flight status. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy that ID, go over to scripts.js, and in order to manipulate an element, we need to find it first. Excuse me, so I say let flight status equal document dot get element by ID. And then I paste in that ID that I found over there in index.html. Awesome. Once I found my element, now I'm able to change its text. The text it says I need to change it to is shuttle in flight. So we're going to do that. So I call out that variable, flight status, dot inner text, because we're changing the text, not the HTML. And I say shuttle in flight. Awesome. Oh, and it has a little period at the end. For the auto grader, make sure that you are very specific about what you put in there, because it is also very specific. But it's also good practice too. There we go. So we have shuttle in flight. Let's go and real quick test this out. We're gonna go and refresh, press takeoff, press OK, and look at that, shuttle in flight period. Perfect. Exactly what we need to see. Let's go and refresh. What happens if we say takeoff and we say cancel? Nothing changes. Awesome. We're well on our way here with part B. Let's go ahead and hop over to part C. The background color of the shuttle flight screen should change from green to blue. All right, getting more complicated here. Let's go and do that now. The background color of the shuttle flight screen with the ID, they give us the ID. That is nice of them. That's very nice of them. The shuttle background should change from green to blue. All right, let's go ahead and do that. So we need to get that element next. So let's shuttle flight screen equal document dot get element by ID. There we go. In those quotes, we're going to provide the ID, which they did up here, shuttle background. It's very, again, very, very nice of them. And now it's time to edit the styles of this thing, the background color. Again, that is part of the styles. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to say shuttle flight screen dot set attribute. The attribute we're going to be doing is direct styling. So we say style, and then we say background color. Now, again, we kind of talked about it very, very briefly in lecture, but I want to call it out. We can just type in blue here because we need to change it from green to blue, or we can do hashtag 00FF00 for blue. Oh, excuse me. 0000FF for blue. There we go. Completely up to what you want to do. I just use hexadecimal codes there. Let's go ahead and see what happens now. Let's go and refresh this. I press takeoff, press OK, and it changes it to blue. Fantastic. Any questions on that? No? All right, let's go and do part D, and then we'll take a second. D, the shuttle height should increase by 10,000 miles. All right, well, this one is interesting. Let's go ahead and explore that. What am I doing right now? Let me go over here. Thank you. I'm thanking myself right now. All right, the shuttle height should increase by 10,000 miles. Let's go find that shuttle height exactly. Let's go into index.html, and we need to find the shuttle height. The shuttle height is right here. This is the header for it. This is the actual description. The ID is space shuttle height. Awesome. Let's go ahead and get that. So of course we need to always find the object or the element. Let shuttle height equal document dot get element by ID. And then I pasted in that ID that I just copied from the index.html. Awesome. So what it needs us to do is increase it by 10,000 feet. So what we could do, and what is very, which is the straightforward way of doing it, we can just do shuttle height dot inner text equal to 10,000. Just like that. So we're going to come back over here to our flight simulator, refresh there for just a moment, and then press takeoff. Press OK. And we see that our space shuttle height is now 10,000 miles. Our shuttle is in flight, and the background is blue. Fantastic. We have now completed B through D as well in all of part 2. So any questions up until this point? Anything at all? How's everyone doing out there with this part? Do you see any questions on it? All good? All right. All right. Well, I don't want to keep us waiting then. Let's go ahead and move on to number 3. When the land button is clicked, the following should happen. A window alert should let the user know the shuttle is landing gear engaged. So it says window alert. This is not like a confirm. An alert just means a notification, some kind of information to display to your user. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do here. So if the land button is clicked, that means an event is occurring on the land button. So if an event is occurring and something needs to happen with that event, we need to create a event listener. That's what we're going to do now. Let's go and find that land button first. Here it is. Land button is right here. The important thing that we need is this ID, which is landing. So I'm going to come over to scripts. I'm going to now be creating a brand new event listener. So we say let landing button, btn, equals document dot get element by ID, and then putting that in there. Just take out this so we don't have to worry about that. And now we're going to create the event listener. So we say landing button dot add event listener. The event we are listening for is, you still awake? Oh,
Click.
come on, what event is it?
Wait,
Click, thank you.
oh,
I just got to check the pulse of the audience just for a moment. You guys all got to stay with me here. Got to stay with me. All right. And then we're going to write that anonymous function in there to tell it what is it going to do after it clicks. Well, let's go ahead and find out. Window alert. And then all of that, we're going to go and put that into here as a comment. Window alert should let the user know the shuttle is landing gear engaged. To do an alert on the window, we use the window object. We say alert. Alert is that function that we're going to do just to show, hey, this is happening right now, just to let you know. So we're going to see that. So we copy that little blurb that they gave us and paste that in. Awesome. As always, we take baby steps. So we're going to come back over to our flight simulator, refresh, and now we're going to click land. The shuttle is landing gear engaged. Notice that this is called an alert here. It only says okay, unlike our takeoff that says cancel and okay. That is, I know it's a very, very minimal difference, but it means a lot to how a user is interacting with a site. That's why I'm calling it out. All right, perfect. A is done. Let's hop back over to the studio, and it says letter B, the flight status should change to the shuttle. The shuttle has landed. All right, let's go ahead and do that. We have actually done that previously up here in our flight status. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this code because Kyle's lazy and bring it back down here. So our flight status is right there, and it says that we should change it to the shuttle has landed. There we go. Save that. Awesome, awesome. Let's go ahead and test it. Refresh this, press land, it says okay, and it says the shuttle has landed. Awesome. B looks to be working. Let's keep moving forward. The background of the background color of the shuttle flight screen should change from blue to green. All right, we have also seen that before as well. So what I'm going to do is come back up here and copy that code. Again, lazy developers get things done the fastest. There we go. Paste that in there, perfect. And we're going to switch it back over to green. Of course, you can always type in green here if you wanted to, GREN, or you can just do the hexadecimals, hashtag 00FF00. That is also the equivalent for just a giant green light in your face. There we go. Let's go and refresh and see what happens. We're going to press takeoff first, so we change it to blue. And now we press land, press OK. It changes it back to a very, very bright green there. Did not expect that. The shuttle has landed. Perfect. Did I put the wrong? No, I didn't. The right one. I guess that's just the really bright green. Cool with me. No judgment. All right. Hop back over here, and we're going to go on D, and then we'll stop for a moment just for any questions. The shuttle height should go down to 0. Sounds good. Again, we have seen that before in our previous one. Instead of setting it to 10,000, we need to set it to 0. So let's go ahead and take that code up there, bring it down here, and we're going to set it to 0. Neato. All right. Go ahead and save that. Come back over here as always, go to our flight simulator, refresh. We are going to then go to takeoff, press OK. Turns to blue, we press land, press OK. Goes back to green, says 0 miles there on the right-hand side. The shuttle has landed. Seeing all that, that means A through D has also been completed here for step, I think, number 3. Awesome. So any questions on this one? Anything at all?
We had a
it's a-
different approach in our studio, and I noticed in your code that you put, we used inner HTL. Is there a reason that we shouldn't have done that? And then an example would be up in takeoff.
Yeah, takeoff, and also here too, we used inner text also. So inner text is when you're trying to set the text of the inner text of the element, obviously for the name. Sorry to just repeat that. But when you're trying to set text, use inner text. If you're trying to inject HTML into that element, then use inner HTML. So easy way to look at it is that there's no HTML in this string. So I wouldn't want to use inner HTML. I'd want to use inner text.
Okay.
Technically, they're two different properties. You're not going to see too much difference in the majority of the things that you do with it. So it doesn't really matter too much. But by standard and just by safety, if you are just trying to switch text out, use inner text.
Okay.
But in the end, it doesn't matter too much. It's just kind of that practice and flow that you get into. So yeah, no points off or anything like that. It's all good. Just letting you know, it can cause issues down the line, possibly, but very, very, very slim chance.
I just wanted to check it because you clearly used inner text, and I'm like, okay. And okay, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
No worries. All right. Any other questions out there before we continue?
So Kyle, we are using the same variable the next time, like the flight status we used in the first time, and the second time we can use the same variable name. We don't have to change the variable name like flight status 1, or we can keep the same variable name.
In the cases that we're looking at, you could use the same variable names because they are in the context of this scope. Remember our scope. This is inside of this guy right here,
Yeah.
while these are down here in this scope. So these two scopes will not bonk heads at all. They will not clash. So you can use it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we might be seeing an example here shortly where we'll see where we would possibly get a clash. But yeah, with that, in this case, no, our scopes will interact. Awesome. Any other questions? Keep them coming. All right. No more questions. We're going to keep on going. So long as I can talk. Number 4, when the abort mission button is clicked, the following should happen. A window confirm should let the user know, confirm that you want to abort the mission. If the user wants to abort the mission, then add parts A, B through D. It sounds a lot like what we were doing beforehand with this one up here. So let's go ahead and, as always, we need to find the element before we're able to do anything here. So again, looking at this, it says when the abort mission button is clicked. The clicked is an event. Therefore, we need to have an event listener. Before we're able to make an event listener, we need to find the element to do so on. Let's go and do that. Let abort mission btn equals document dot, dot get element by ID. I don't have the ID just yet, so let me go ahead and find that. We're going to go over to index.html. We got to find abort mission, perfect right there, and the ID is mission abort. So we go in here, we type in mission abort. There we go, perfect. Awesome. All right, so we have the mission abort button. Now we're able to add that event listener. So what we say is abort button dot add event listener. The event we are going to do has not changed. It is click. Perfect. We say function, that anonymous function that we want to include there. Perfect. And finally, now what we actually need to do. Press enter there. Perfect. All right. So a window confirm should let the user know, confirm that you want to abort the mission. Let's go ahead and start with that line first. We need to tell the window to present a confirm dialog to our users. So we say window, that object there, and then confirm, and then provide the message. Perfect. There we go. Awesome. Now, as we learned in the previous example, our confirm provides us back what kind of data type as its return? Who remembers?
Boolean.
A Boolean, very good. It is a Boolean that comes back, whether or not they want to abort the mission. So it's going to be true or false. So let should abort mission. There we go. So this will return us true or false. If we do or we should abort the mission, we, according to this, need to add parts A through D, or B through D, excuse me. There we go. Awesome. So we are well on our way now to complete part 4. Any questions up until this point? All right, let's go ahead and do this then. Part B here, the flight status should be changed to mission aborted. And you know what, I'm gonna read the other 3 just to help us out here, or other 2. The background color of the shuttle should be changed from blue to green, and the shuttle height should go down to 0. This sounds a lot like what we were doing when we were landing, except that the flight status is a little different. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to copy all of these previously from our other parts and put them down here. This will save us a little bit of time. But again, our flight status has to change and our flight status has to be mission aborted. So we're going to change that to mission aborted. The background color should change from blue to green. That's exactly what we want. And the height should go down to 0. Awesome. There we go. So let's go and see if this works. So we're going to come back over here to the flight simulator, refresh, ready for takeoff. We're going to go ahead and take off. While it's out there, we're going to press abort mission. It says confirm that you want to abort the mission. Good. Our confirm dialog is there. We press OK. It turns to green and our miles goes down to 0. We press takeoff again. We say that. We abort the mission and we say cancel and it stays blue. We tried both paths there. We need to test both paths, both if or if not they chose it, and both are looking swell. So there we go. Number 4 is done. Any questions about that?
Question. During exercises, I have found instead of function, somewhere it was written as event is equal to then greater than sign. Then how is it that different from function, calling a function?
Absolutely. So you will actually might see that a lot out on Stack Overflow. And for everyone here, that is actually a very, very important question. Let's go ahead and talk about that really quick. So function up here, you might have also seen functions written such as equal sign and then like that, kind of like a thick arrow. Has anyone else seen this out there?
Yes.
So both are technically equivalent in the most generic sense. You're both writing a function. However, like I mentioned today also, I'm realizing that I've talked a lot, like I said, I rambled a lot today. JavaScript has been around since 1993. It is a very old language, and it has gone through many renditions or just adjustments. Writing the word function out here is actually part of ES5 or a previous version of JavaScript. We just continue to write function out here because it really does help. The stuff that you are seeing or that we are mentioning here with this thick arrow is the newer version of writing functions in JavaScript and with ES6. As of right now, I would highly recommend against not writing your functions like this, instead writing your functions with the word function there, since right now we are continuing to work like that. Are you going to see any trade-offs whatsoever? No. But I do recommend that. Sorry, go ahead.
So if we are using those thick arrow kind of thing, do we have to declare some variable name, event, or this parenthesis we have to use?
If you are using if you are doing this,
yeah,
I would recommend removing that arrow and placing function in the beginning. Because we will not be talking about that style of functions in these units.
Okay, got it.
Yep. Typically, I would say like do whatever you want, but in this case, it will be way easier for you if you remove that. Do not take those and place function in front of it, just because that's how we'll be taught all in Unit 1. But it is important to...
Oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
wouldn't that affect the auto grader?
Not necessarily, because the auto grader is looking for functionality and outcomes.
Okay.
So might not. However, the two function styles do come with trade-offs, so it might, in the end, affect functionality in an unseen way. So to answer your question, yes and no, it depends. Most likely not, but it is more safe to continue with this function. So it was a great question because that is going to be noticeable. If you were looking at coding examples elsewhere, you might see that. Know that that's just another way of writing a function for a different version of JavaScript, but do stick with this style of doing so as we move forward for right now. Any other questions? I'm loving that. I love the curiosity. I really do. Anything
I had
else?
a question about the variables in your conditionals in each function. Could you not just have them all at the top above all these at the top under window add event listener so that they act as global variables for all of the conditionals and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. If you wanted to optimize this or just simplify it a little bit, you could, since we reuse flight status, when you reuse the shuttle flight screen, yeah, you could absolutely put those variables at the top and just do it that way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, great question. Absolutely. I want to be able to do that in the end. I don't know I forgot what the bonus mission. I remember, you guys are all in a treat for tonight because this bonus mission, I remember, threw me for a giant loop last time. So let's see if it does it again tonight. Anywho, there's no other
Hey,
questions.
Kyle, I have a question.
Yeah, Amy, what's up?
So as I'm typing some of this in, and of course it wants to autofill like document, you type in DOC and it's like, you just hit enter and it fills it. It's putting in this document in places. Is that
Yeah,
good,
it has it for
bad,
me too.
indifferent?
No, it's technically, you can technically do that. I just remove it because we don't use the word this in there. It's more safe to do that per se, but it's not in a lot of the coding examples we do. So I just remove it just to clear up any of the air out there. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't gonna cause me problems down the line or whatever.
Yeah, no, you're all good. It won't cause you any problems. I'm just removing them. That's why you won't see it in my examples. Awesome. All right, everyone. Save that because I switched some stuff up. And let's move on to number 5 then. When the up, down, right, and left buttons are clicked, the following should happen. The rocket image should move 10 pixels in the direction of the button that was clicked. If the up or down button was clicked, the shuttle height should increase or decrease by 10,000 miles. Oh, fun. Let's go ahead and do this and see what we can come up with. Excuse me. All right, so let's go ahead and deal with, I don't know yet. Let's just start with what they have, up and down. Start with up and down first. So let's go and get all those IDs for those buttons. So we're gonna come over here. We see the IDs is up, down, right, and left. Perfect for those particular buttons I'm looking at right here on these 4 lines. So let's go ahead and start with the up button. So we're gonna say let up button equals, not new, up button equals a document dot get element by ID, and the element that we want to get is up. Perfect. And we need to create an event listener for that. So we say up button dot add event listener. The event listener we're looking for is click, and then we need to do function. Awesome. All right, it says whenever the event or whenever the up button is clicked, the shuttle height should increase by, I believe they said 10,000 miles. Yes. So let's go ahead and do that part first. So what we're gonna need is the shuttle height here. So I'm gonna copy that text up there and bring it back down here. So this is gonna be a fun one. We need to get this shuttle height and add 10,000 miles to it. So let's go ahead and do that. Remember, we can set properties, but we can also get properties. So for this one, I don't essentially want to set the inner text right away. I want to instead get the inner text. So I'm going to say let shuttle height amount equals my shuttle height inner text. So this right here is going to grab that inner text. Why am I grabbing the inner text? Because this is a number and I need to add something to it. But it is a number, but it is being represented in the data type of a string. We're going to see that real quick. We're going to see the shuttle height amount and then the type of shuttle height amount. So let's go and see what this is real quick. We're going to go back over to Flight Simulator, refresh this, and we're going to click up. When we click up, it says 0 and it says string. Can we add 10,000 to a string? We sure can, but what we're going to get back is 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. It's going to just append those strings together. So what do we need to do to this string in order to actually add a number to it, truly in a mathematical sense?
Make it a number.
Convert type.
Make it a number, absolutely right. So we need to actually convert this inner text to a number. How we do that is we write number with a capital N there, and then we wrap that. Perfect. We just converted to a number. Let's double check that we did what we expected. We press up, and now we see 0 and number. Perfect. We are on our way. All right. Now that it's converted to a number, now what we can do is say shuttle height amount. Now I wanted shuttle height amount plus equals 10,000. Remember, what this is going to do is add 10,000 to shuttle height amount and then put it right back into that variable. So that plus equals does. Awesome. So we're adding 10,000 now to our shuttle height amount, but we have not yet shown it back to our users. That's the next thing. We have to reuse now the inner text property. Instead of getting it though, we need to now set it. So what we do here is say shuttle height dot inner text equal to the shuttle height amount. Just like that. Perfect. Let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. Press up. Look at what's going on here. We are now adding our height. Perfect. Exactly what we want to see. Any questions about what we just saw there? All right. What we're going to do real quick is we're going to go ahead and do the down button real quick. I know we have to move the shuttle. We're not going to do that just yet. We're going to do the down button real fast. Instead of up, we say down, and then instead of click. So what we're going to do is decrement by 10,000. Just like that. So what we did was just switch this to down button. Oh, I need to go ahead and switch that variable over as well. And now we subtract by 10,000 instead. Awesome. Let me go ahead and go over here, refresh, press down. Look at that. Now we're in negative numbers, but that's fine. That's fine. We go up. That's all good. So it looks like up and down now are working with the increment and decrement. Any questions about that? All right. So if we go back over to our instructions, it says that we need to move the image in 10 pixels in the direction that the button was clicked. So that means if we press this up, we need the image to go up. Now, the fun thing about Kyle's past experiences with this is that he got this incorrect. So I'm going to go into even more depth about how I'm going to solve this because I actually forgot the correct solution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the image and I'm going to say inspect. I want to actually go to that image itself, this IMG. So my question is, what do I need to do to push this thing? Because I'm working on up first. What do I need to do to push this image up? So
Change the height.
So what would I change? What would you want me to change the height to?
0.
Let's see what happens. So if we say height is 0, the image actually goes completely away. Let's see what happens if we set it to 65. Look at what happens to the image. Let's go to 55. What it's doing is setting the actual height of the image itself. So we're not actually moving the image, we're just shrinking the image or growing it. If we were to do it the opposite way, if we say we 100 or 1000, we're growing that image. So that's what the height does. So you wouldn't want to necessarily do height. Anybody else have any other questions or any other suggestions?
Top.
Good try out top. Let's see how top does. Top is how we are actually telling it where in reference to the top left corner depending on your position type, of course, where you actually want to orientate your image. So let's go and say top of 0, say top of 10, looks like the top of 20. Top is not giving us exactly what we need. So top is also going to be only used for a position type of absolute or fixed. Right now, I believe we are by default, our position type is relative for people who are looking for top. Technically, you could change the boxes type of CSS position to absolute or fixed, and that could kind of help you out, but it is going to get tricky. Using top and left is very, very tricky and very specific in HTML. Sometimes we don't exactly want to do that. So let's keep exploring some other things. 2 things around images that occur. One is padding, meaning that if you are in a box, say that you are in a cardboard box right now. You just bought a new refrigerator or whatever. You're standing in that box. If you are in the box, padding would mean if you had the styrofoam in the box, that is the padding. It's coming towards you in the box. So that's padding. Styrofoam would be padding. The second thing about a box in HTML is called margins. Margins is basically anything outside the box and moving it away. Say you're in that box or whatever, and you have whatever, another like a flower pot or something right next to it. You don't want to tip over that flower pot. So you push the flower pot away from the box. Pushing that flower pot away from the box is saying increasing your margins. You're increasing your margins away. So where am I going with all this? Padding, we don't want to decrease the size around our image. Margins instead, though, we do want to maybe move our stuff back and forth. So let's go ahead and see what happens if we say margin of top of -10 px. Look at what just happened. See if it does +10. Oh, son of a gun. See if it actually goes. This is where it always tricks me up every time. Come back, you. 10 px. So maybe we don't want to do that one. Maybe let's try this guy instead. So this is where it always tricks me out. It's like, where am I actually adding the padding and the margins? Let's see here. Instead, let's go ahead and say padding top of 10 px. See margin, no, because it wouldn't be margin top. Yeah, why are you not doing that? It should be margin top 10. Why are you acting weird? Clear out that guy. Position relative. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, we don't want to do it to that. Relative is what we want. Why every time it's like it switches me up? It's like, wow, how did they design this thing? Okay. That's fine. Yeah. So it's like literally everything margin left 100 px. Yeah, that's fine. And why is it? I don't understand. So your margins are typically what you're supposed to be doing to moving this stuff. I'm trying to figure out why it's always moving my stuff down when I'm trying to do that. Margin. Try it. Oh, that's why. Margin bottom. Whenever it moves the bottom. Did anyone else get bottom or down moving correctly?
Yeah.
What did you use?
Sorry, no.
Okay. Well, we at least get 3 out of the 4 buttons working there, and then what? Well, there's no way they would want that. Okay.
I have a question, Kyle.
What's up?
So we're working with margins right now, but it seems like the studio wants us specifically to work with absolute positioning.
Oh, it does.
Like it doesn't say that explicitly, but it says under note you want to use absolute positioning. Just scroll up. Oh, sorry, scroll down. It's right above number 3, at least on my.
Oh,
Okay.
you guys might have a newer one. Okay. Well, if they want us to do for the absolute positioning, then we will absolutely do that. All right. I would expect that under a bonus mission for that. Okay. Let's go ahead and do an absolute positioning then.
Do you want me to like copy and paste what it says, or like share my screen or something, or I could just
if you just want to, feel free to direct message me that, whatever the little tidbit is there. That'd be awesome. I'd really appreciate that.
I'll read it out real quick if you want me to.
Let me get it. Let me get it real quick from
okay,
Jacob there, and then or Joe. Okay, Joe.
There you go. I just sent it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so when you're moving the shuttle, you will want to use an absolute positioning in CSS. Absolute position means that the object is based on its location in the parent object. In the case of our flight simulator, the parent div is the relative position means okay. That cool. All right, does everyone have that little blurb on there? You all should if you're going through the instructor. Okay, I have old links. I'm an old person, so I got all the old stuff. All right, let's go ahead and do that then. So what we want to do here, position is relative, but I guess they want us to have position type of absolute. But I don't understand. We can do that technically. Top of okay. 0. All right, let me make sure they actually want that one as the okay. Yeah, maybe we could do that. Let's see how it looks in this one real quick. Okay, so it does want us to do that. All right, let's go and do that. Sorry, I apologize. I did not think that it would want to go with absolute, but I'm happy that little blurb was there. So let's go ahead and do that. So in the index.html, what we're going to do to make this happen is that we need to switch things over to absolute. So going into the shuttle background, we need to find the actual styling for it. So we need to go into the shuttle background real quick, and we're going to switch this over to absolute. I always get my absolute positioning stuff messed up just like a little bit. It's like I always got to take 2 divs and color them and figure out exactly, all right, this is the relative, this is the absolute. So it does get a little tricky. If I'm not covering something too in depth, let me know. But what I'm doing right now is changing the shuttle background over to absolute. So once that's done, I'm going to go over here and refresh. Oh my gosh. You said you would be fine. All right. Well, we're not going to do that then. I apologize. We're not going to do that one. You're going to do, like I said, I get it backwards every time. Shuttle background is going to stay relative. We need to go to this space shuttle thing. And I need to actually make sure that it is correctly there. So we're going to say position type absolute. And we're going to say the top of, and we're going to test this out. So what I'm doing over here, by the way, is this is how I test essentially what I'm going to be coding or even the CSS before I even touch our actual environment. Because basically you don't want to keep coming over here and refreshing things and see if it actually works. Instead, you can literally see it in real time by editing the elements right to the right. But once you refresh the page, all of this all these edits actually do go away. So top is there. So it looks like top would work. It's going to be off by a little bit. That's what I didn't really like about this, but all right, whatever. Technically, we could take the height and the width into account. But all right, let's go ahead and do this. So what we need to do is switch over this thing. Top. Let's see if it -100. Yeah, that's what that. So we got that. Cool. Let's go ahead and do that. So over here in our index.html, we need to come down here and find our rocket. It says the ID of rocket. So what I need to do, what I did over here, so also elaborate on what I'm actually doing. On the image here, I was testing out to see if position absolute and if my tops and lefts will still work properly. So it's looking like everything is working. So now what I need to do is actually set my position for my image, this little rocket, to absolute. To do that, I came over here and I saw that my ID is rocket. I'm gonna go into my style.css and see if there's any already styles written for it. There are not, so what I'm going to do is I am going to make a styling for it. So I say hashtag rockets, just like that. And I say my position now, TION, is going to be absolute. All right, there we go. So I refresh and I see that my rocket is now right there. Awesome. But I see that's a little off to the right. So what I want to do is truly bring it back into the center. So what I could possibly do is I can do left. So I bring it back over left by half of its, let me see if I can do by -75 and that will work. It's either half of that or 75. What am I doing? Am I just going crazy today? What in the heck are you doing to me? Told you, I even warned you all right before this. I was like, I remember this one. It threw me off so much for some weird reason. Top, 0px. Okay. It's because it is, that's, no. All right, going absolutely insane, whatever. We're going to do this. Let's see. It needs to be in the middle though. That's what I want it to be. So right in the middle. So it's left should, the shuttle background. I can't do that because it's percentages. All right, well, we're gonna be off center then. Can I give me this? All right, we're gonna work on it. So our thing is just right in the middle. Oh, there we go. Because it's coming from flight display. That's why. Okay. So our rockets is having a text align issue. Let's try that. See if that corrects our stuff. Nope. No, you're still gonna. All right. Well, Kyle's OCD can't be satisfied tonight, so we're going to work with whatever it has. So we're going to refresh that. I apologize that it's not going to be perfect. I really, since this is my daily job, I am like absolutely just, the tingles in my background now are incredible. So we are going to have to work with what it has so we can get through all this. So with the up down button, what it wants us to do is when it presses up, we need to move it up. So in absolute positioning, you have 4 options. You have left, top, right, and bottom. By default, 0, 0 on a square that has absolute positioning, 0, 0, top left, or sorry, top is 0, left is 0 is the top left corner. Hence why my confusion of why this little guy isn't in the top left by default there. Some weird CSS stuff is just throwing me off. So what we need to do is that if 0, 0 is the top left corner, if we need it to go up, what do we need to do to the number? Who can help me out with this one? Who can save me here? The top, if we need to go up, what are we going to do to the number? We're going to add or subtract?
Sub.
If you're
Very
at the
good.
top,
Yep, if we're at the top, we're trying to go up. Are we going to add or subtract?
Subtract.
We're going to subtract. Very good. We're going to subtract 10 pixels from our top. Very, very good. So what we're going to go ahead and do here is we're going to get that image. And it says the ID was rocket. So, and we're also going to use that recommendation. We're going to, since up, down, left, and right are all going to be using rocket, let's just go ahead and create a variable out here. It just says rocket, img for rocket image, equals document dot get element by ID. And the element ID is rocket. We saw that previously. There we go. So in the rocket image, what I can get also is the, I believe we can get the position too just by direct access. So let's see what I can do there for a CSS trick. Get element access, position, JS. Not jazz, JS, please. Element absolute position, JS. There we go.
I'm trying to click on your screen.
I think rocket dot style dot position.
Was it, so you said rocket image dot?
Dot style dot position.
That's right, what? Yep, style dot.
Position equal to.
Let's go to make sure this works real quick. I believe you, absolutely. I think this looks right, but as always, I have to always check my stuff. Nope, you're all good. Let me go ahead and check this real quick. So that's for the up. So let's go over here to Flight Simulator. Press up. Yeah, we're undefined there. So let's go ahead and get the position and see what happens there. Press up, and that's just blank. So it's not that one, but it's for top. What am I talking about? It's style just top. There we go. That's what I need to do. There we go. We'll press up. It's blank. That's exactly what we need to do. So it is actually just top because that's one of our stylings there. So this is that direct stuff. So what we can do is say plus, or sorry, we can do minus equal 10. Let's try that. Maybe I can a little bit of sanity back. Oh, what I can do is rocket image dot set. I need to set the style directly. Refresh that, press up, yeah. I forgot how to do the direct. Anybody remember how to, or anybody get that portion of it, the direct styling? I gotta look it up.
Kyle,
Yeah.
I didn't do it in position absolute. I used relative, and I used the offset top to get the position. Can you do it
offset top? Let's see.
Can you do it that in the absolute too?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So we're talking about the positioning here. So let me go ahead and, so you said
offset top.
I think you're working with.
It's the capital letter.
Yeah, that's. I forgot exactly which position that goes into.
Okay.
That would be a function call. Let me go and see it. You know what? We can go ahead and try it. Dot offset top. Let's see if we can just do it in -40 there. See if that gets it. Perfect. Save that. Refresh. Refresh one more time just for good measure. Up we go. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and get this guy. These are the worst. I really don't like codeproject.com. They just make everything super complex. Like,
And they use
calm down.
VAR.
Use VAR. I even when I was learning some other languages, the coding project has like every language under the sun, but they just make it so over the top. It's just like,
Scroll top.
offset. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and actually log this. I need you to do is rocket that, and I need your styles, please. Thank you. Now you get to see Kyle in full debug mode because I was like, I don't really remember how to do this one. So we're gonna
Mine?
go and see.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, mine right click, right button is working in my code, in my coding. Only right button. Yeah.
Are you using position left for that one?
Yeah, I'm using rocket.style.left equal to parse int of rocket.style.left plus 10 plus px, that kind of. Then first set rocket.style.position equal to relative, rocket.style.right equal to 0 pixel, that kind of.
If you want to direct message me that code, I'll take a quick look at it and
Okay.
see if that's the direction. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay. Oh, I'm using Slack. Okay. Where can I put this code?
Go ahead and just direct message me it. So under direct messages, under Slack, go ahead and type in Kyle or instructor Kyle, and then go ahead and just send it that way.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm actually saying this correct. Yeah, style on top. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll take a quick look at it in one moment. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Okay. Save that. So press up. It should disappear now. Okay. There we go. So it was, yeah. To the person who told me that it was style.top or help me out with that, that was correct. So let's go and see if we can get through there. Yeah, Jasmine, that looks absolutely correct. So yeah, if you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. So we're actually going to probably do a lot similar to what we're about to do with that. So for up, what we're going to do here is actually take over px, because what I needed was px. That's what I was missing. I was just doing it. I was giving it integers. So that's me working too fast there and not in the right direction. So style.top -10. We're going to append that string on there. So let's go ahead and see if that will help us out just a bit there. Let's go ahead and refresh that. Press up. Oh, you're the worst right now. Oh, just the worst. Let's see this. Why are you just acting like that? All right, refresh that. Console log, press up. I don't have so many bananas. I am. Oh my gosh, because it keeps resetting to okay. No. What am I missing here? Going for brownie points now.
Just
was it in?
Does the 10 pixels go inside of the there?
It could be either.
Up above we go equals 0. or equals, but those are hard.
So we're still pending this at the top. It's being reset every time. What am I missing on this one? That's fine. Okay. Let's go see if we do it on the down. If you're just being like that. Top. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Save that. Plus that.
You know, Kyle, when you're looking for our guidance on number 5.
What was that?
I said, when you're looking for our guidance, by the time we get to a number 5, we're usually.
No, this is a tricky one. It really is, and it's one small little thing that I'm forgetting on here. Set. It's for the direct styling. It's like it will continue to repeat it. Does it have to get? No, it doesn't have to get the brand. Let's see. Does it really have to get a brand new one every single time? Let's try that. Okay, last thing I'm gonna try here. So I'd be very surprised if it's gonna make me do it every single time. Parsent, I can take that out. Minus 10 plus 10, there we go. That's for up. I'm gonna go over here. That's why we don't take this there. 74. All right. Oh. Okay. Well. Yeah, it won't. I'm going to go absolutely. Yeah, you really are just doing that to me. All right. Top's being reset. Why is the top being reset every single time? All right.
Kyle, can I send you my code?
Yeah.
It's working, but
yeah, absolutely, please.
Hey, quick question, Kyle. This is being recorded, right?
It sure is. If
All
you ever
right.
want to go back in history and watch Kyle struggling, come back to this one.
Well, it's
Yeah,
not about
absolutely.
that. I'm just trying to eat dinner.
No, you're all good. You're all good. Feel free. Guys, yeah, I apologize. Usually it's right through, but yeah, this one is really kind of throwing me up here. If I can't find it, I'm going to have to hop over it. I will bring it back up. We'll go into bonus missions real quick.
Hey, Joe, look over to the far left and see that there's a little button up there that says recording.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
Oh,
I just noticed it myself, so I thought I'd throw it up.
Thank you.
It better be, because this is valuable stuff, and it would be bad.
Yes. Okay. Well. Top. That's what we're gonna do. Sean, thank you very much for that. I'm gonna try something out real quick.
Okay.
See if that will Make me not go absolutely insane here. Oh my gosh, that, I feel like there should have been one more hint there. All right, we'll go with it. All right. We're gonna go ahead and Kyle's gonna go through what's going on. I don't exactly know. To be completely honest with you, I'm always trying to be completely honest with you. I don't know everything at all. Coding is a great thing where there's always something new to learn. So we're gonna go through what happened with me. I have no idea. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this is old code. We don't need to worry about that. What we really want to talk about is that top. All we needed to do, of course, this just sounds really easy on paper, is we need to decrement top by 10 to move it up because we want to absolute positioning instead. So what I came down here, what I was trying to do is get our elements top styling and just use that in the equation and subtract it by 10 and then add pixels to it. So, and then of course, update our element, the rocket's top that way. But in that course, it looked like that style.top was actually not holding its value, which makes sense in a way because we are updating the DOM, which is a lot of work here and there. So some things might not always get updated, or those values might not hold true to what we're doing in JavaScript after the DOM has been actually configured. So that being said, what I'm trying to get at is that instead of relying on the top or where this element actually is, where its particular property is being held, instead I created my own. So I have top out here that holds the value as our application is running. So we don't have to depend on that element anymore. We can just hold it right there. And I think this is probably what I did last time too. So what that means now is that if I come down here and I do the exact same thing for a rocket instead of I do bottom, well, technically, actually, we can just do up and down, or up and, actually, we can just do top and left. Because we need to move it down, what we want to do down here then is we're going to add 10 to our top. Just like that. So this is our up and down button. We're gonna come over here and refresh this real quick. We're gonna see it goes up. We're gonna see it goes down. Awesome. And this one we just want to do left. So these two, copy that. Now we gotta do the left and right button. Actually put this right down here too. So we'll do the left and right button, left button, LFT, BTN. Awesome. We're gonna do left here. Go. Our left value then, if we are moving left, it should decrease by 10. Let's say right. And so our left should increase by 10. And we'll also need to update all this too. Copy that, paste that, paste that, paste that. Awesome. Perfect. Let's go try this again. I think I missed one, but we'll see. Oh, that's right. Because we had left, right, and button, and then right. I knew it was something. Left, right, left, and right. There we go. Come back over here. Up, down, right, left. See, I have no idea why it starts in the middle. It honestly just, but whatever. Okay, so our shuttle height amount also should not update. So I'm going to remove all of that right there because if it's moving left and right, our height should not increase or decrease. There we go. That should go down. That should increase. There we go. All right, save that. Refresh this. Up, down, right, and then left. Cool. All right. So technically it is moving up and down. Why it's not being centered, I don't know. But after I am logging off here, I am deep diving into this because I don't want to. I don't know what the heck's going on. I really do want to just ask for like what they wanted to specifically see. Like, oh my gosh. All right, so this was a fun number 5. Any questions on this one? Besides all of them?
Kyle, can you make it? Can you show it, demonstrate it one more time, like it moving up and down?
Yep. Up, down. We have right, and then we have left.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Would you mind-
absolutely.
Would you mind showing the code again for that?
Yep. This is our code here. Pause here for just a moment. So we do have to hop into one more, but as always, this will be available right tomorrow. This was crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh. I know there's probably like a simple solution too, and I'm just like overthinking this.
Would you say this is a pretty common thing that you might run into, this like knowing this skill, or is this a pretty niche skill?
As in like the absolute positioning?
Yeah.
So absolute position is fairly commonplace in some applications. It's very useful. What's not commonplace is being injected into code that someone else has done the styling and trying to figure out exactly what small caveat is causing maybe something to be off center or why it's top left. If we're looking at even more so talking about like the styling left here, technically this is a little bit niche. It's a fun thing. It shows us what we can do here, but it is definitely not very commonplace. You're most likely going to be working with text or injecting HTML more than dealing with the left in top styling. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Can I help out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Positioning is extremely important, but to edit this like on the fly is not an everyday thing, that's for sure. At least not for me. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and keep on going. We got one more quick thing here for our student review. So on a 23.8.3, if you are done with the above and you have some time left during class, there are a few problems that you can tackle for a bonus mission. Keep the rocket from flying off of the background. All right, in order to do that, what we need to do is make sure that we have no negative numbers. So basically what it's talking about is with a flight, if we say up, 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 it's cut off the screen there. That right there is showing us probably most likely a negative left. Going down, this is whatever the height is of it, plus the actual icon itself, which is 75 by 75. So if we are going up, we do not want our top to be there's our top right there, top to be less than 0. So if top is less than 0, then we're going to just update top to be 0. So that will keep us from flying off the top. We're going to see this in action real quick. Press up. We see that we do not have it fly off the screen anymore. That is the code for that one. Same with left. Luckily, these two are the easiest ones. So if left is less than 0, then left should equal 0 before we update it. You could also technically just do, well, you still need to return it, but you can technically just put a return down here also if you wanted to, just to just not even update the document. We'll go and see that. So we press left, 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 and then up, 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 up. You see that it does not fly off anymore in those directions. But if we press down enough times there, it does still fly off of there. This one is going to be a little bit more tricky. Why is it going to be tricky? Because if we inspect this object, we see the shuttle background, the height itself is a percentage. Now, if it was just saying like, okay, this box is always going to be 200 pixels, then that'd be great. The box is very easy to work with then. Unless, okay, yeah, flight display, there we go. So what we need to do is actually get the size of this shuttle background and see if our top is greater than that. So what we need to do is get height of element. And and I don't want to mess this up or anything like that. So that's what we're going to do here. So we need to do the offset width and offset height. Awesome. So for down, what we do is let height of box equal our element. Our element that we're going to be talking about in this regard is the shuttle background with that ID. So what we can do, I'm going to reuse this actually up here, shuttle background. Oh, no, because that's already a variable elsewhere. So we can't do that. So we're going to say up here, let shuttle background equal document.get element by ID, shuttle background. Just like that. Let me say offset height, and we're going to see if that properly works. Let me make sure it's not a function, it's just a property call. It's just a, excuse me, it's a property call because there's no parentheses. Awesome, awesome. So this is our down button. So real quick, before we even start doing any extra coding, we see what the height of the box actually is to make sure it actually works. So go to your flight simulator, refresh that. We press console down, 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 down. It stays at 320. That's awesome. Sorry. Go back over here. It says 320. That is the height of our box. So we don't want this object to go past 320. So we do the exact same conditional that we did before. So we say if height of box is greater than our top, right? It is top still. And then what we want to do is say top is equal to height of box. Now there's one thing here I believe we need to take in the account of the object. So we have to come up down here. We press down, down, down. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. If height of box is less than top, there we go. So if top is greater than height of box, that's how I should have phrased it. Then we need to do that. So we press down, 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 down. So we see it kind of goes down there, but it will probably stop at the image. So we say height of the box minus 75, which is the width, or sorry, the height of the little image, that little little launch code icon there. So we can press down again. Oh my God. Oh, because I'm not taking that account. There we go. All right, just do it up here, minus 75. The true height of the box is there. There we go. Refresh. Try this again. Down, 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 down. There we go. Now it's actually landing. Perfect. So there we go. It actually stopped at that box's constraint there. Awesome, awesome. All right. One last thing here we need to do is then do the exact same stuff we did here for the width of the box. So we come down here to here. We say is width of box offset width minus 75. And we say left there, left, left, left. Perfect, perfect, awesome. All right. Push that. Left of left, and now we do right, right, right. Awesome. All right, so it looks like we are able to stop it. It's not all the way there, but close enough. So that's how we would do those constraints. So we really do want to get that offset width and the offset height of that box. Again, it's really hard to do that because it is percentages, so we had to call it directly. So we got whatever that value was actually back from the document because it keeps track of all that stuff. And then we're able to move it around like that. So any questions on that one?
Can you scroll all the way up to the top of the code?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm thinking you're off center because at one point in time we were playing around with it and we changed a number up here. No, okay, down a little.
Yeah, we won't work with it too much over here, at least with any of its styles.
I mean, on mine, I didn't mess with any of that stuff and it's still off center.
Okay.
Oh, okay, well,
Yeah. I'm gonna look a little bit more into it and I'll let you guys know if I find anything there. I'm gonna see what their solution is for this. Because I'm a little perplexed about exactly what's going on. Oh, well, that would also do it right there. Every single time too, when I get off, there's just like, it's just, once you relax for a moment and let your brain breathe, then it's just like, oh, it was obvious the whole time, Kyle. You're just making dumb mistakes. All right, left, left, left. Let's see. Yeah, it's like very weirdly off, but it will be because it's percentages, so it's not going to be very specific. So no worries there. All right. Any questions on this before we hit the last little bit? All right. Return the rocket to its original position on the background when it has landed or the mission has been aborted. All right. For this one, it's all about what we think that the original position was, because for some reason it's still off center. It's very weird. So we'll kind of try to throw it in the middle of that box. So let's go ahead and do that. So that's what our goal is here. What I'm trying to say is that we're going to try to throw it more in the middle here. We're going to try to throw it in the middle. Let's go and do that. It says if we abort the mission or if the mission is landed. Let's go and just do the landing button for this one. So we're going to be utilizing a lot of things that we just did in the past example. We need to find where the center is of that box. So in order to do that, I need to get the width of the box. And also I'm going to need to set my style here. So I'm actually going to copy a lot of this up here and bring it back up to our landing button. I don't need the conditional. So what I needed was the width of the box. And then we subtracted the 75 there. Right now, we actually won't need to, well, we can. We'll actually need to subtract it. We need to add it and divide it by 2. No. Yeah, we can do. Is it added and divided by 2? All right, well, I know that I'm gonna have to divide the width by 2 and then take in minus that by 40. What is 75 divided by 2? 74 divided by 2. 35, 39, 39.5.
34.5. 34.5.
Is it 34?
Uh-huh.
Maybe 68, 69. That's a 69.
No.
37.5.
37.5. I'm sorry.
No, no worries. 37.5. Okay. All right, let's go and see that. So we have our width of the box there. We're gonna have our left. So we're gonna have is that division there. So I'm gonna say left offset or something like that, because technically it's kind of the center. There we go. Let's see what happens there. So this is just for landing. So let's go over here now, refresh that. And we're gonna go up, down, left, that's what we want. And let's go and land. There we go. Now it's actually centered. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? That's a first. So this is the way we could do that. So if we land it, we'll put it right back to the original spot right there. Doesn't it look so nice when it's actually centered? I'll tell you this, being a UI designer, the amount of OCD I have is absolutely incredible. So I can't express enough how much this hurts not to fully give you all like a centered, nice design thing. I apologize, but at least what we should really get from this is kind of the properties that we're utilizing to move this thing, as also get that offset width, offset height. These are those different properties that we really want to explore when we're trying to just work with CSS and work with the document when we're in JavaScript. The last thing we need to do with this is taking this, and what we can do is just throw it underneath the mission abort. So if we wanted to finish it through and through, that's what we can do right there. And that is it, everyone. That is it right there.
You know, Kyle, I was going to say, when you're looking at the image before, the world at large, they see, you know, but all you have to do is be off a little and eyes go to the, they won't notice perfection. They notice a mistake.
Oh, exactly.
So that's why then our, you know, and people who think like we do just can't have that happen. So
Exactly. Like you always notice where your eyes go. It's like right there, that one small little offset by half a pixel. Oh, I completely agree with you on there.
So I don't know about you, but how many years of your life do you think you burned up trying to make sure that doesn't happen?
Quite a bit. And like every second has counted, so like it'd be perfect. But I just know that like everyone's like, oh, looks good. Like I spent so much time just getting that perfect. I'm glad you like it.
All right.
Kyle.
Good night,
Absolutely.
everyone.
All right, everyone. Yes, thank you guys, everyone, for
Thank
hanging
you.
on. It is what, 9:50. All right, give me 1 second here. And